They're starting to melt, and they centered right onto the pads. Nice. A quick update on that small BGA packaged microcontroller. I still had the one that failed installation, and at $8 to $9 each, I figured it was worth trying to reball it. If I want to start using this package type, and every failed attempt means throwing the chip away, it just isn't a viable option. I managed to find some 0.4mm tin lead solder balls in a small quantity. Links will be in the description. They're clearly not in an anti-static container, and at this point I don't know if that's good or bad. I also ordered a 130-piece stencil kit for under $30. I knew it wouldn't include a stencil specifically for the 144-pin pick, and I wasn't even sure if it would have a 0.8mm pitch that could produce balls close to 0.4mm. I didn't order any holder or jig either. This was purely to see how these stencils behave, since I've never used a solder paste stencil before, even on a PCB. First, I have to clean what's left of the old solder off the chip. I'm using double-sided Kapton tape to hold it to a scrap PCB. This is just a makeshift setup to see if the process even works. If I end up adopting BGA packages, I'll need a proper holding jig. I'll coat the pads with plenty of paste flux, then use solder wick to remove the old solder. Almost no pressure on the wick. I tend the tip with a little fresh solder to help with heat transfer. After that, I'll clean off all the flux residue. I've always wondered why they sell no flux wick. This seems like a perfect use for it. I only felt 2 or 3 raised spots, so I'll hit those again with the wick. Clean everything up. It may not look it in the image, but I don't feel any raised solder on the pads, so I think it's ready. The stencil kit came with what looks like a 0.4mm aperture on a 0.78mm pitch. That should be close enough to the chip's 0.8mm pitch. I don't really expect this to work, but the stencil is making good contact with the IC. This is a Type 3 solder paste, so it's probably not fine enough for this job, but I just want to try it and see what happens. I'll need a proper spatula next time as well. Heat is set to 800 degrees Fahrenheit with 15% air volume. I can see some paste got pushed under the stencil, so some kind of pressure to keep the stencil flat against the chip is going to be necessary. The heat is also causing the stencil to bow away from the surface. Going to have to hold the stencil against the chip through the entire process. Yes, you can see the solder melt and disappear. It's clumping up underneath the stencil. When the stencil pulled away, the solder stayed in the apertures. I hadn't even thought about cleaning the stencil afterwards. That will be its own process. There are a few that look like decent solder balls. I'll have to look into this further because it could end up being much quicker and cheaper than placing individual balls. For now, I'll clean everything off and move on to the real solder balls. All the old solder is removed and the flux is cleaned off. Now a thin, fresh layer of flux goes on so the new balls will stick. It's a pretty light coat, but it will turn liquid when it gets hot. Let's give it a try. Placing the balls one by one is incredibly time-consuming and tedious. A template or stencil would speed this up a lot. Air is set to 5% volume and 800 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm trying to keep the flow straight down on the chip. Way too much flux. Even with the tiny amount of air, the balls are floating around in the puddle as it heats up. Time to start over. I'll reuse the balls if I can get them off the needle. They're tiny and now sticky with flux. I'm wiping the excess flux off the chip with a dry swab, so only a thin layer remains. Then using the balls that already have a light flux coating of their own. A little hot air on the loose balls makes them easy to transfer to the chip. Not too bad, but testing always feels like a wearisome process. All the balls are in place, or at least close to the pads. Still at 5% air and 800 degrees Fahrenheit, flow straight down. This is already much better. The flux is liquid and the balls aren't moving around. They're starting to melt, and they centered right onto the pads. Nice. I'll add a little fresh flux and do one more reflow just to make sure there are no voids. They really did look good. Quite a bit of heat, but there's still flux left on the surface, so hopefully it wasn't excessive. I've let it cool for a while. Now I'll clean off the flux residue with isopropyl alcohol. The whole chip is coated, and I want it looking like new. The balls look very even, which makes sense. Each one started out almost identical in size. It looks good. The only question left is whether the microcontroller is still functional. I have a fresh set of boards because I really want to try flux-only mounting on pads that have no solder on them. I'm only installing the power delivery parts, still several dollars worth of components, but just enough to see if the microcontroller will run. I did install the power LED so I can at least tell when the board is powered. That's more than enough flux, just a thin layer over the pads. With flux only, it doesn't matter how precisely I place the chip, I can still nudge it into position. Air volume is at 20%, temperature at 750 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll warm the bottom of the board a little, but not enough to soften any of the other solder. The balls are the same tin lead alloy as the solder used on the nearby SMD parts, so those parts will act as a visual indicator of the reflow state. No downward pressure. I'm just using the tweezers to push gently on the side of the IC, looking for a small amount of springy resistance. That's a bit more movement than I'd like, but it should be fine. It definitely feels like liquid solder pushing back. Best I can tell, the balls look well soldered. Next step is to power it up and see if I can program the controller. The processor is working and programmable. I didn't destroy it. I set all the GPIO pins I had connected to toggle, then checked them on a scope. Every one of them produced a signal, so I'm calling the reball a success. That said, the time involved really doesn't justify an $8 chip. With a little practice, it wouldn't take near as long, even placing balls one by one. But the real question was whether I should even consider BGA packages in any of my projects. Right now, I'm leaning toward yes. They turned out to be much easier to mount than I expected. It still won't be my first choice, but I'd wish I'd tried them when I first started my DualSense battery project. I guess I've just been a bit reluctant to try new things. Thanks for watching.